So after the talk, David and I had a conversation about the nature of property investments under the programme. David, the property investment, a lot of people place a great deal of emphasis on return on investment. You, on the other hand, have described the investment when participating in the programme as kind of a sensible investment. Just talk to me about the nature of the property side of participating in the European Passport Programme.
Yes, my experience with clients have been is that they tend to take a very conservative approach. The purpose of the investment is essentially not a real estate one. The program, it's as we often talk about, as a plan B. So clients are really looking for an investment that will give them comfort. Most certainly if they were looking for investments which were high yielding investments, they'd probably be better advised to do that in their own countries. So talking about location, Lisbon being certainly in the Asian market the most attractive of locations because people are more accustomed to living in cities. Lisbon as a city, price points, people will often ask me what the price points are. To take an average apartment, possibly a 2-bedroom apartment of about 90 square meters. I don't know what that is.
That's about 1,000 square feet, I think.
Okay, 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
A price point there in a good location, obviously. As we move back from the river, when you do visit Portugal, or especially Lisbon, when you visit Lisbon, Lisbon's often been described as being on the coast, but it's not. It's on the river Tejo. As you move back off the river, obviously prices will adjust accordingly. But we tend to find that our investors are looking for locations that are what I like to call sexy. They want to be in a location where most certainly in 5 or 6 years' time, when they decide they want to sell, they have an exit, because this is a conversation that we have throughout their visit. What will be our exit plan further down the line? Obviously always trying to measure the exit in a worst case scenario.
Because they need to hold the property for 5 years, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So they need to. So the approaches tends to be a 5 or 6 year and plan from an investment mindset. In terms of property values, in good, sexy locations that successful or wealthy Lisbonites would want to be living. You can look at as I said, a 2-bedroom apartment with the 1,000 square meters. You could be looking at a price point of, let's say, between about 450,000 euros on the bottom end to about 650,000 euros in something sort of a penthouse in a really special location with some great views of the river. As you move out of the city, obviously price points will adjust. So we've had experience of clients both investing in Lisbon as well as along the coast. Portugal is a tourist destination. Tourism is by far the biggest employer in the country, by far the most successful portion of the economy. So tourism is also very, very good from an investment point of view. It's quite healthy, quite established. So clients can expect, if they're moving out of the city to locations like the Algarve, or which is more commonly known, or the Silver Coast, which is the region just outside of Lisbon, about a 45-minute to an hour drive out of Lisbon. There, an equivalent 2-bedroom apartment, probably located about 100 to 200 meters from the beach, your price points are a lot lower. For the same 1,000 square meter, 1,000 square foot apartment, you could achieve a price as low as 170, 180 to about 220, 250,000 euros.
And that's about, say, 100, 200 meters from the beach. What about a sort of essentially overlooking the ocean? What about that?
We're talking some apartments with that sort of view. So you'd be talking on the top end of the 200, so closer to 250,000 euros would get you a nice 2-bedroom apartment
overlooking the ocean
with great sea views. Yeah,
it's good value for money.
Very good value for money. So our experience has been is that we'll have clients which will buy a single unit in, let's talk about Lisbon, possibly Lisbon, or alternatively clients that will buy 2 or even 3 units in a coastal location. Obviously looking at it from a management point of view, because this is always the concern that clients have when they do come home. who is going to look after their properties. We're always sure to make sure that there's a program or a company available to look after their property in their absence, both regarding just the management of the property, but also in terms of a rental program if there's one, if the client requires it.